How many statues do you think Walt Disney has? Like, how many statues do you think were built of Walt Disney, the man responsible for founding the company that by 2025 will probably own every intellectual property in existence? I'll give you a second. The answer is 5. There are 5 statues of Walt Disney on planet Earth. That's a lot, even if it's not as many as you might expect. That means that 5 separate times someone decided to sit down and sculpt a piece of stone or metal into the shape of Walt Disney. It probably took months, at least. But why am I telling you that? It's because there's someone else with exactly 5 statues on planet Earth. Someone who, in my opinion, is as deserving of those 5 statues as Walt Disney is, even if they weren't human. Someone who showed great courage in the face of danger and had a soft spot for his companions at the end of a hard day's work. Wojtek the Polish Bear Soldier. It all started on April 8, 1942. A group of Polish soldiers were passing through Hamadan, Iran, accompanied by hundreds of Polish civilians because of the recent Soviet invasion of eastern Poland. At a railroad station, the soldiers ran into a young boy who was taking care of a small bear cub whose mother had been shot by hunters. One of the civilians, Irina Bakovics, an 18-year-old girl, asked the lieutenant to purchase the bear from the boy. The bear was then taken to a refugee camp with Irina, and she looked after him for 3 months until he was, and I quote, donated to the 22nd Artillery Supply Company. There, the soldiers who looked after him named him Wojtek, a Slavic name that means happy warrior, and fed him things like condensed milk, honey, marmalade, and syrup. Eventually, his favorite drink became beer, unless it was the morning, during which he preferred coffee, and he often became upset if not given enough cigarettes to smoke, or to put it more accurately, eat. Wojtek learned all sorts of things, like how to salute and march on his hind legs like the soldiers, and he even wrestled with the soldiers he was stationed with or slept with them if the nights were especially cold. By this point, he had become an unofficial mascot and morale booster for members of the Polish military stationed anywhere nearby. One soldier even recounts a story in which he had finished drinking a bottle of beer and actually looked inside the bottle to find where the rest of the beer had gone. Wojtek was cared for by the 22nd Artillery Supply Company for months, until one day the soldiers he was with were assigned to join forces with the British 8th Army to fight in Italy. The transport ship that would take them all to Italy, however, didn't allow pets or mascot animals on it, so the Polish military did what anyone would do and officially drafted him into the army as a private. This is not a joke, he was a private with his own serial number and paybook and everything. So, when the time came for the armies to clash in the Battle of Monte Cassino, Wojtek copied his caretakers and helped out. He carried 100-pound crates of artillery shells back and forth across the battlefield to rearm the artillery, never dropping a single one. This is actually a controversial topic because some people deny this having happened or say that the artillery shells were empty, but there is at least one account of a British soldier seeing Wojtek carrying an artillery shell. Wojtek proved an incredibly valuable team member to the Polish infantry. The crates he often carried usually had to be carried by 4 men, and his ability to copy the behavior of his comrades made him even more useful. After the Battle of Monte Cassino, he was promoted to corporal, and the official emblem of the 22nd Artillery Supply Company became a bear holding an artillery shell. After serving as a corporal, Wojtek was taken to Hutton in Berwickshire, Scotland. Why Scotland? Well, the soldiers who had taken care of him didn't want him to go back to Poland because they were afraid that the new communist government implemented there would adopt him as a symbol for communism, which they were against. Wojtek lived a nice, quiet life there, where he had essentially become part of the community. Neighbors would come to feed him jam and honey, children would kick a soccer ball around with him, he attended concerts and even came to birthday parties, and he eventually lived to the age of 21, when he died in 1963 because of damage to his esophagus. Probably the cigarettes. Elsewhere, Wojtek has been commemorated with statues and plaques all over the place. He's got a monument in Jordan Park, Krakow, a bronze statue in Princess Street Gardens, Edinburgh, a sculpture in the Sikorsky Museum, a monument in Zagan, Poland, a plaque in the Imperial War Museum, and a statue in Duns, Scotland. By the way, quick tangent, Duns was the name of a real guy, John Duns Scotus, who was a theologian whose beliefs were so wacky and wrong that everyone took to using his name to mean stupid person. That's where the word dunce comes from. I just thought that was cool. Wojtek the Polish military bear has gone down in history as a Polish war hero, and I am personally fascinated with this story. It's weird how it both makes you feel glad that humans and animals can coexist in such a way, but also makes you feel a bit of sadness about the unknowing or uncaring mistreatment of the bear. I mean, in the soldiers' defense, they could smoke cigarettes and be fine, and a bear was about the size of 3 men, but I really do think the story would have been more heartwarming if that didn't cause his death. Anyway, something that really gets me about this story is that dozens and dozens of people, soldiers and civilians, all saw this bear in the military and thought exactly what me and hopefully you are thinking right now. That right there, that's an awesome bear. We love Wojtek. Alrighty, this video was a bit on the shorter side, but I'd like to know what you thought of it. Later.